Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we are going to talk about the books I read in August, and it is very late because I used most of the month trying to finish that favorite vlog, which was the last video, and it's now finished. So now I can finally film my August wrap up. I feel like it's very much a repeat of like my latest vlogs, so obviously like not that detailed as it's not that interesting to hear me repeat the thoughts of all these books, I think. And I have read 38 books in August, which is actually my worst month this year. So, boo, but it's fine. It's fine. I was gonna say I'm chilling, but I'm not really. So, but I'm lifing. And it's hard to life. So yeah. First book I finished in August was Bonesmith by Nico Perepetto. This one was for the favorite vlog. I listened to the audiobook. It follows a young girl who they use bones to kind of like control or like dispel ghosts, I guess. I don't know how to else explain it. And then she exiled after failing this test, and she meets this dude who is a ironsmith, and they are kind of like enemies, and they live like on the other side of like the protective like whale that they have created for themselves. There's a conspiracy happening, there's an assassination attempt, kidnapping, and they need to go on the road together to figure out like and unravel this. I really enjoyed the tone of the characters. I really enjoyed like their bickering and like how their relationship developed. I enjoyed our main characters like I was gonna say grit. I just didn't enjoy the narrator that was used for main character, and I didn't think the plot was super original, but he had some point of views from like the prince who was kidnapped, and I really loved those, so that was entertaining. But yeah, the plot itself wasn't like super original and like blew my mind away, so I ended up giving it a 3, but it was still like enjoyable overall, like entertaining. I had a good time. I want to read the second book. Then I read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. This one was a young girl who has had this monster living inside of her for a really long time, and then that is secret, obviously. The magic system here is based on tarot cards, and then she meets this dude and they are trying to find like certain cards or something. I'm saying or something because honestly I don't know. But then, I don't know why, she falls for this dude instead of the super cool, sexy demon inside of her. And I was like, what is going on? Why am I interested in this, the most boring, basic person in the whole world? That, like, kind of ruined the book for me because it is, like, giving, like, not dark romance, but, like, a bit, like, mysterious, dark vibes. And then we just meet this dude who's super boring, and I didn't get it. And the plot was kind of boring as well. And I fell for the hype for this because I bought this before I filmed the favorite vlog, and this was also in the favorite vlog. And I ended up not really liking it, so I gave it a 2. Then we have Komi Can Communicate by Tomohito Oda, volume 8. So this one follows Komi, who struggles making friends, and then the whole story is about her making like 100 friends. And it's just like so many cute different interactions where we're like every like kind of episodic, where like you have different like scenes of how she's making friends or connecting with the friends she has already made. It's very sweet. I'm really enjoying the series overall. Then for the further vlog, I read The Ones We Burned by Rebecca Mix. So this one we have this world where we have witches, and then the witches are like suppressed, and then they also all between so many years they send one witch to marry into the royal family. I didn't really get it because that means that the mom in the current royal family was also rich, but they still being suppressed. I didn't get it, but I guess she doesn't actually like have any power. I like kind of liked it when I read it. Like, it is sapphic, it had like fun characters that had an interesting development, and like this is standalone, so everything like was wrapped up within one story. So like I enjoyed that. I did give it a 3. I have however realized later that this one had a lot of criticism for trying to do like reverse racism, and a lot of back reviewers did speak and write up about this, so I would check out reviews before reading it. I'm not saying you can't read it, I'm just saying that is something to keep in mind, because I did not even realize, like, it maybe sounds stupid, but like I often like forget descriptions of characters like instantly unless like it keeps coming up again in the story, and I didn't really think on the fact that that was what the author was doing, like doing the reverse like racism thing where like black people are in power and then white people are not and suppressed and stuff. I didn't realize that that was a thing in the story because I forgot how the characters like looked like the instant they were described, which maybe is a bad excuse, but I was not checking out reviews or anything because like I was just going through these favorite books like The Wind. But yeah, it is something to think about. I always think that is very rare, but I do think the whole like power dynamic and how that was explained was not really done really well. I was kind of just it was very predictable. I was just kind of just enjoying the ride of these characters stabbing each other a bit, and like because it was betrayals, and then she's there because she's there to kill the royal family, but pretending that she's there to marry them or something. So like I was like that was the part of the story I was focusing on, but it's definitely something to keep in mind and to check out if you're interested to pick this book up. My voice is dark today and is dying. Then we have Crossroads of Twilight by Robert Jordan. I had to read this because the live show was like the 4th of August, I think. So me and Erica was so behind, so we had to listen to like 6 hours of it one day or something. I don't even remember. But we did finish it, and this is not like my favorite in the series, but I do believe the first time I read it I gave it 2, and I might have upped my rating for my reread because I can appreciate some pieces more. But the few next ones are some of my faves, so I'm very, very excited. And it was like, okay, I gave it a 3. Do I need to describe Wheel of Time at this point? Guess I'm just not, and moving on. I then read Cruel Illusions by, I can't read my own handwriting, but Margie Fuston, also for Faceless. This one is really weird because it's about a young girl whose mother was killed by vampires, and then she's drawn to be a vampire hunter, and then she meets like vampire hunters in a way, and then she's gonna like join their troop to become more powerful and immortal stuff so she can kill vampires. But then it turns out that maybe vampires aren't as bad as we thought because she meets one that is hot. And it's like, it sounds funny and cool like when I'm describing it like this, and in the beginning I honestly did not care at all because it was very tropey and annoying. But then I kind of grew on me a bit. Like it had some cool secrets and had some things playing out. It was very, very long though, and I honestly don't think it was that good. I do believe, I don't remember anymore. Oh, I can maybe see, I think I gave it a 3 or 2. I don't remember, but like I ended up not enjoying it as much. It was just whatever. Then I read Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. So this is also for Fairloots, and this one was a girl where they all thought that the brother died, but then he was really like imprisoned on something, so they're going out to this journey to go and get him. And I wanted to care, but I didn't. Like I just didn't have anything that gripped me in the story, and I was just like bored. So I do think I ended up giving it a 2 as well. Then I read Flowers of Evil by Shuzi Oshimi, which is like, this is complete 2, so it has like 3 volumes in each, I think. So this is really weird because it does follow this boy that steals this girl's gym clothes, and then like he gets blackmailed because someone knows, and it's like a whole thing. It is a bit insane, honestly. Everyone is a bit insane, and the ride where the story takes is not at all where I expected, but it's very entertaining but dark and horror in general. And I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep reading it. There's only like 4 of these, so it's not that much. And then after this I was thinking to read other tracks by the same author. Then I read Utregning av romafang 2. I don't know like what even like it will be in English. Like it's the calculation of a room, a trapped room, by Ballad. This one is originally in Danish, and I borrowed it at the library, so I don't have it. So it follows this woman that is currently trapped in the same day over and over and over. She's living in a different time than everyone else. She's trying to figure out in the beginning, like, how does like this work? Like, can she be with a person overnight, for example? What will happen to them then? And in this one, she's like traveling around in Europe because she's trying to find the seasons, because obviously when she stayed in one place, no seasons passed, and she has like calculated ish, like for example when it's Christmas she's trying to find snow, etc. So she's just traveling and trying to find the seasons, and then trying to settle down somewhere, and then something happens in the end. I'm very intrigued by the next one, which I'm reading very soon. I have all of them from the library, and I need to read them before I cannot renew them anymore. But it is a fascinating, interesting series. I enjoyed it. I do believe I gave it like a 3.5, rounding it up to 4 possibly. Then I read City of Nightmares by Rebecca Shariffer, and this one I didn't care about anything. We have a young woman, I think she cares a lot about her sister or something. She saw some nightmares when she was a kid. Is she hunting them? Is she scared of them? I don't know, but she meets one and it doesn't go that well, and then I just didn't care anymore for the story. I do believe I gave it a 1 because it was just not engaging with me at all. Yay. Then I read a buddy read, which is Welcome to the Hyunam-dong Bookshop by Wang Bo-reum, which I know I'm pronouncing wrong. This is basically about just an indie bookshop and how it works and functions and what they do there, like day to day, and like other events happening there, and like different developments for the different characters. There's some romance. It was very, very cute. I really, really enjoyed it. Obviously translated from Korean, and I just had a good time overall. I have like a couple now translated books like following like a cozy store, or like not a couple, but following like a bookstore or like a library. Do I have more than two, or am I just thinking wrong? I don't know, but they just seem very, just like the vibe of these is just very good, and I had a good time. I thought it was very sweet, and I really enjoyed it, and I give it a 4. So then there was more favorite loot. We had 7 Faceless Saints. I can't even see what the author is from here. By M.K. Lob. This one had like something to do with the saints, and it was traveling around, and it reminded me like of the tone of the story, reminded me of trying to be a bit of Greycoats, but I don't think it was doing it particularly well, and I do believe I gave it a 2 or a 1, but I can't remember anymore. So yeah, I didn't care that much for this one. Then I read Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I feel like now we had 3 different Rebeccas. That is confusing. But this one is about these 2 people that fall in love through letters. First, in the beginning, one of them doesn't know that the other one is the one sending the letters. And then it's like set on a kinda, I would say like almost like, I don't know if we could call it Second or First World War, maybe Second. I don't know. Right now I've forgotten all the knowledge of the wars and couldn't place it in my head. But it's like clearly inspired by one of the world wars. So it feels like a historical fantasy, almost no fantasy elements to it, but more like a what's it called, war love story than anything else. I don't think it was that good. Like I thought I would love it, but I thought it was something magical about it, and it was interesting, but I didn't like love it as I thought I would. I gave it a 3, and I just generally don't like war settings in the way this was told. Like, it's obviously fantasy was different, but this just reminded me not of a fantasy war at all, and I didn't really get like the relationship moved a little too fast for me, even though I do get it on a wartime stay. Want to hurry, but still. Then I read Snow White with a Red Hair by Sorata Akidugu, which just follows Shirayuki, who basically is trying to become almost like the royal herbalist, and then she has a thing with the prince, and they are having many moments, and it is kind of sweet. But I have not fallen for the story completely yet. I'm still waiting for me to be completely in love with everything. Then we had Silver in the Bone, which was again for Fairloot. This is the audiobook I was reading. This is by Alexander Bracken, and this is inspired by different legends, but this one definitely focused on like Arthurian legends. And we go to Avalon, who has like been closed off from the world for a long time, and then we're there and nothing happens, and we're there for ages and nothing happens. Our main character is very cynical, so I enjoyed that, and she's there to try to find this cure for her brother's curse. So I had some interesting elements because I was invested in this curse. I was invested in a main character, but then we just didn't do anything about it, so I was bored. And I do believe I gave it a 2. Then I read Threads That Bind by Kika Hatsupolu. But this was also an audio, so did I complete 2 audios in a row? I'm very confused of what happened here. I don't know, but apparently I did. I don't know. So this one is really, really fun. I really enjoyed this one. We have Io, who can see the threads that connects the people. So she can see like threads of people. For example, if you really enjoy a color, if you really love music, if you really love a person, she can see this and cut the thread so you wouldn't care for that thing anymore. She also can see her own fate thread, so she knows she's connected to this boy but has avoided him because she doesn't want to like go after him when he feels like he maybe not have a choice in how they feel for each other. And then murder starts happening and they need to investigate together. Ooh. It is very fun. It is Greek mythology from an actually person that is Greek. And then we just have kind of her relationship with her sister. Reveals comes through there. The murder was kind of fun. Like, I really liked following the murder and like see how that was revealed and unraveled, and I like just going through the city and feeling it underneath my feet. It felt so real and good, and I really was invested in the characters and just their relationship. It was just honestly such a ride, and I'm very excited for the second book, so much as I already bought that, and hopefully we'll read that soon. Oh, I did not finish them after one another. I just failed in my journal, but it doesn't really matter. Really, I was just so confused. So we have Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. So we have a siren, but she needs to hide her siren powers, obviously, and she's connected kind of to revolution because people are being suppressed. And then she meets the prince, and they kind of need to work together. And I feel like I heard this story before. I wanted to care more for this, but like her whole motivation was like she had a sister, and sometimes I just don't care that much for those kinds of relationship when it's like not developed or like done in a way that I actually care for the sister relationship, and I didn't. And then like the whole evolution parts, etc., weren't that interesting either. I wanted more for Simon part, but didn't get that, and I didn't really end up liking it that much. I was quite bored, and I gave it a 2-star. Then we have which volume? I guess it is 4, which is like part 2, Narcissus Revenge volume 1. I am enjoying it, but again, I feel like a bit of a disconnect between like the chapters, even like in its own volume. I feel a disconnect with like the ones that come before, but it's still like fun and enjoyable. I really love the art and obviously the characters a lot, so I am excited to still keep reading the series. Then I read A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. This one was about the seamstress for like someone important, the prince, I think, and then they fall for each other. I get it was supposed to be a bit like Regency, fancy, something, and I just didn't care that much, honestly. I don't remember if I gave it a 2 or 1, but it was not for me, even though I thought I would like it because the cover is very cute. Then I read The Temptation of Magic by Megan Scott. So this one we had kind of vampires, but they're not vampires, they're like imperial. And we have this young girl, and she falls for one, and they go out on this thing together, and then it's a bit sexy, but not really sexy, and then they want to be with each other, but they can't. And I wanted to care, but honestly, it reminded me a bit of Discovery of Witches, which I don't love, so there's that. And I just couldn't really get into the story. I thought it would be cool, but it wasn't, and I was forced to buy this because I thought I had to read it within the week I got it, but then I didn't, so I didn't really actually need to buy it, but yay for me. I think I gave it a 2. Then we have DallerGut Dream Department Store by Margie Lee, where they sell dreams in a department store. So it's very much about the actual store and like how the store functions. It was a bit interesting, but then it came on to the details a bit of like the dreams and stuff. And I wanted to like care about the element because I was interested in how the store worked, yes, but then it became a bit boring. The way it was written and told to us made it boring, and I don't want to care about how does these dreams actually function, but then that part was also a bit boring too. So I ended up not really enjoying it that much as I thought it would. I thought it would be cozy or at least funny, but it was neither. It was like too much like going to the department store, honestly, and I guess that was the vibe they're going with, but that doesn't mean I need to like it. I just thought it would be really fun, but it wasn't. So I was a bit disappointed, and I gave it like it's week 3, I would say. Then I finished Bungo Dogs by reading volume 22 and 23. However, volume 24 has since then been released. Lol. So I have 1 volume to go. And in this one, we obviously follow the detective agencies where there are people with different powers who investigate the different murders. And we are in this huge case which we've been in forever, which I feel like I said every single time I talked about this series since like volume 16, but now things are finally coming that I really enjoy, so I'm very excited to read volume 24 and see what it has in store for me. Then I read Sleep Like That by Kaylin Bayron for Faceless, and this one is a Snow White retelling from the author of Cinderella is Dead, and I really enjoyed the relationship and what the author made between like the mother and Snow White, because they don't hate each other. She like goes out and gives her to the forest to protect her in a different way, and I enjoy like the gritty details of like why she has to do this, and then like their relationship with the prince, and it was a good time. I thought it was fun. It was a bit weird to me to read a book by the author where it was not queer, because she has just written queer books, and it was still enjoyable though. Like I like to see like the turns in Snow White, which I wouldn't say is my favorite fairy tale, but still interesting. And I gave it a 3-star, like a strong one, because like I wasn't like blown away by it, but it wasn't bad either. Then I started my Spiffbo books, which is in a vlog that is already out. So again, let's not spend too long with it. That vlog has been out for a while as well. So it is Tale of Tales Part 1, A Strange Bunch by Nicola Stefan. So this one we have this young woman who is attacked. She becomes blind. They collect over this party and goes out on this adventure. It took a long time really for the story to get going, and it's very short, and then we don't get as like second part because it can't stand on its own. I mean, we do get a second part as in it is released, but like in the story it just kind of ends, and then you just, that was it kind of. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it. I don't remember ratings anymore. I gave it a 2 apparently. Then at the same time, not the same time, but a bit the same time, we had a Girl of Reflection, which was the last favorite books I read, and I read this on audio, and then the physical came right after. So we had this girl who needs to marry this prince, and then she realizes that by the prince, when she sees a mirror, there's a girl that is her, and they live in a mirror world. It is like these mirror people. Can they be trusted? I guess you need to read it to find out, but it's a lot of like back and forth of who to trust. This character, her emotional turmoil of who to trust is a lot. I was just like, girl, you need to think for 4 seconds before you start trusting people. But she's not really smart, I would say, very naive, and a bit stupid, but she grows. And I thought it was like a fun time with like these mirror people, and like, I don't know, just getting to know the characters, because you think the story's gonna go a certain way, and maybe it does, but it takes some turns to get there, and that was a fun time, I guess, and I gave it a 3. Then I read Chlorine by Song for this buddy read, and this one was absolutely heartbreaking but absolutely beautiful. We follow a young girl who is a mermaid, or is she? I guess you need to read it to find out. It is very intense in some certain scenes, a bit like it makes you almost nauseous. I would look up like trigger warnings and stuff for the book. She's a swimmer, and she always feels like she has belonged in the sea, and then they sort of devolve from there. It is a bit insane, honestly. It is, again, heartbreaking. It's queer. It is beautiful, but like not really a pleasant time. I don't know how to describe it, but it is absolutely wild, honestly. It's a lot about like swimming culture and stuff as well, but then a main character just takes a huge turn. We then have Tvillinghjerte or Tvillinghjerte by Maren Østervik, which is a Norwegian, well, I would say young adult book. You follow a family that goes to this cabin every summer, and we follow like one of the younger sisters, I think, and I don't remember if she was youngest or oldest. I do believe she's youngest, and then she's very mad at her sister because she made out with her boy, or did she? And then we unravel these things. She meet new people that are hot, and they go to parties, the drama between her and her sister who's getting sick, and like I wanted like a really, really fun YA where it was just like cliches upon cliche, and I did get that, but then we just unravel something completely else, because some of these characters are truly unhinged, and then we just got into kind of almost a murder, or kind of murder, and I'm like, so I felt like that turn was like very surprising. And then also almost a sexual assault, which is very serious, and I don't know if this series managed to carry so serious and heavy topics before moving on. And I was like, is this for teens? This is intense, and obviously very important to read about, but I feel like you need to handle some topics and present them maybe differently for the teens, and I don't know if this book managed to do that. So I was really enjoying it, and then I was like, what is going on right now, especially at the end. So I gave it like a 3. Then we had Burden to Bear, which was for Spiff Box, and this was by Gregory Marto, and this one we had like northern stuff, like northern mythology, and then they went out to get this thing or something. I didn't really care that much. Sadly, I struggled with all of the Spiffable books I had, so there's that. Which is also the next one, which was Tall and Dark by Susanna Rowntree. One was like mediums and clairvoyant stuff, but it didn't manage to do it in a way that I was super invested or interested in it. So yeah, didn't really love this one either. Then we have The Black Crown by John A. Douglas. This one followed orcs, which was very interesting, but then I was kind of just lost in all the orc stuff that just felt like humans almost, so it wasn't really that interesting after all, so I didn't really have a good time with that either. Then I read Land of the Lustrous, Volume 10. I have no idea what's going in this series right now. It is totally nutballs. I don't know what's going on, but I'm reading it for the vibes. I feel like I think I have 1 more volume before there's no more, or maybe 2, I don't know. But this is volume 10. It's been a really, really long time coming, and I'm enjoying it, but I don't understand what's going on right now. So it follows like crystal people that can break really easily, and I've been like attacked by these Lunarians, and been like that for a really long time. Then we have Haelend's Ballad by Ian V. Conray. So this one was like kind of a bard telling a story, and it was a bit weird, and it just didn't have any elements. We had many different point of views, and I just felt like it didn't manage to come together in a way that I found interesting. So yeah. The next with Rematch of the Titans by Samuel Gately. This one had some time fighting, I think, but then it felt like it started in the middle of the book and it ended in the middle of a book. So it was really, really weird. I'd never understood what was going on in this one, sadly. So we had The Last Lunar Witch by S.F. Hannah. So this one, we have a witch who was struggling with the power, so she's trying to be taught those or teach herself those. And it was like semi-okay, but still like not it. I was just like, whatever, to the whole thing. Then I read Tokyo Revengers 5 and 6 by Ken Wakui. Don't really know what was going on in this one that much. I enjoyed the story. We have like a boy who could travel 12 years back in time, and she's trying to save this girl, and she keeps dying, so she needs to go back many times. There's like mafia basically going on in the past. They need to like figure out who to save or who to not save to save her, I guess. I felt like characters looked very, very similar, so I'm struggling sometimes to know who was who. But I'm still interested and invested to see the story play out. It has some beautiful arts and shots, and it's really, I wouldn't say weird, but it's really interesting, and again, interested to see it play out. Then I have Father of Constructs by Aaron Renfro. So this one is a progression fantasy, so you get like almost like RPG lit, so you get like progress and like levels for the different characters, and I thought that was interesting, but then it kind of just, I would say, almost threw that out of the window, so it became uninteresting, and I was just not really fully committed in the end, I guess. So that was also a bit sad because things just developed so fast, so it was just what is going on. We had Millennium of the Ocean Serpent by Seth Hobbs. So this one we basically follow this ocean serpent, powerful, almost godly dude, and everyone wants to have sex with him, and it's really weird. And I was just like, what's going on? It was written in a way that was very annoying to me. Like, we had exclamation points, we had big and small letters to like front emotion, and that just didn't work for me. Then we had The Blood of Houses, Volume 1 by J.A. Garza. I feel like I wanted to care more about this. It was very, very, very long. But like, we had some like house stuff that was a bit fun, and it could almost remind of Game of Thrones, just not as good. So because it was so long and just like I confused the characters, etc., I just couldn't get into it because I wanted to care for it, but I just ultimately was let down by life, by everything. So yes, BF Box was really, really hard for me this year, but I will still read all the finalists, so I'm curious, and hopefully that I will be more invested in those. I guess that's what I got for this. I did read 39 books, by the way, not 38. I just had missed one. I realized that is the books I read in August. Luckily for me, not that long video because I didn't read that many books, so that is the perks of reading less, I guess. And yeah, you should see me soon in a new video. I know this is very late, such is life. Leave a house emoji down below if you enjoyed this, because we had a lot of houses last. And you should see me soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!